Welcome back, guys. This is what we're installing today. It's a Luxe bidet, and we're also replacing the toilet while we're at it because, well, the bidet doesn't fit on the Thetford, and we wanted to get a nice new Dometic 320. So I'm not going to show you the full installation of the toilet, just how we're addressing installation of this bidet. You can check out my toilet installation video. The process is going to be the same, and I'll link that. I think that's here. So hopefully you'll check that one out too, guys, and we are going to get to it. The particular bidet that we got is a Luxe Neo 320. So it's got a cold water inlet, a warm water inlet, so you can adjust the temperature of the water that's doing the washing. It also has two nozzles, one for everybody's use and one that's more targeted towards feminine use. Now, my experience so far, we've had it installed for about a week, is that it does a really good job of cleaning after you've gotten to the bathroom. Why did we choose a bidet? Now, I know that this topic has been quite controversial on some of the forums and other videos, but for us, we felt it was the right thing to do. We don't move around much, like months at a time over the winter, because we do have a home base and we stay in one place for the bulk of the winter. So we don't have that move around and clean your sensors and slosh things around benefit that a lot of other RVers do. Our lifestyle's a little bit different, and since we choose to stay put in the winter, we really don't want to add a ton of chemicals into the water and things like that. So we do have a little bit more of a TP buildup problem in our black tank, and it's because we're staying in Colorado, we end up getting the inability to effectively wash out our black tank during the winter season. So for us, not putting as much toilet paper into the waste tank as possible is the best thing for us. Now, the other major argument that a lot of people have with bidets is they use so much more water. And what are you going to do when you boondock? Well, that's not our lifestyle either. We're typically hooked up in a RV park situation, and we use the facilities on board when we're traveling, like from point to point. But since we're typically in an established park for a week, or anytime that we're not at our home park, we end up having the ability to empty the tanks at will. So the overall water usage really isn't that much. There's other videos out there that show you exactly how much it uses, based on how long you have the thing running or whatever. But all of those things kind of put together for us really makes sense.
As I tried to get the flex hose connected to the back of the toilet, I realized that I had made a judgment error. The threads in the toilet are not deep enough and they don't go all the way to the end of the inlet, so this faucet supply line is not going to work. There's just not enough thread there to bite on and get a solid connection. So I ended up having to rework everything that I just did, and unfortunately I didn't want to take the toilet off because I didn't want the flange seal to get problematic since I'd already compressed it. So I do struggle a little bit to get everything reworked here, but in the end I put the original connection style back onto the back of this toilet and connected the PEX without any flex line, and it seems to work just fine.
So the toilet came with these plastic lid screws, and they're kind of short, so picked up a set of toilet seat bolts. They're metal, and they're a little bit longer. And the convex side will go up onto the nut and the bolt. Now, why did we choose to install one now? Well, we're a year past the TP shortage of 2020, but I was kind of waiting to see some real in-person reviews from people I know. Just so you can see how things align. It doesn't protrude at all. And this does have a hot and cold water hookup so that we can actually get warm water on our derrieres. So the first thing is we'll see what it does on the nozzle cleaning setting, and the way this one works, it cleans itself. You can turn it off, and it does open, so that if you need to manually clean this thing, you know, weekly cleaning or whatever, but that's what it looks like. Flip this back over to wash for the derriere. Strong spray. And for the females, there's a setting. Of course, that's full strength. If that's a little too intense, you can adjust the strength. So this, my friends, is how we're going to get warm water so that we are not completely woken up by the chill on the bum. So what I'm hoping to be able to do is hook this thing up as close as I can to the water heater. And yeah, so this is definitely the hot water, and this is the cold water. So what I'm going to try to do is actually hook in my warm water line for the bidet into this hose. Ooh, that is warm. Sometimes you got to get fancy, heat up the end of your hose so it is quite flexible. So, since I had the water turned off already, I've got water that I had in our coffee maker and heated that up, so hopefully it'll get soft enough that I could do what I gotta do here. And I need to run this fin hose down into the underbelly. The hot water line connects right where my finger is tapping. And again, they have this little thumb screw thing. I suppose you could take that off. I'm going to leave it on in case, for whatever reason, I ever need to disconnect this. It's still there. And now we can go underneath and hook this up. So we can just screw this back on. Okay. Off, please. Can you turn the water on? I think I did it. I had to put an absurd amount of pipe thread tape. You can wash it. Now to wrap up this video, you know, my connection job between the flexible hose and the T-line and the adapters and all that stuff was really not the ideal situation. There's a lot of potential for leaks there. So I went ahead and I reworked everything. It's kind of the same thing over and over though, you know, crimping PEX lines and connecting compression fittings and things like that. So I didn't go through the whole process of how I went and resolved that. I really wanted to point out the things that you don't want to do if you're trying to install a bidet in your RV. You know, the PEX lines they're specifically sized for those clamps, so you want to use the right product for the job that you're trying to complete. And so hopefully you're able to learn from my mistakes on this one. It was a mess as I was installing it, but hopefully you will have a much better experience avoiding those pitfalls that I ran into with this install. That's all for this episode, guys. I hope you appreciated it, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed seeing my pitfalls and what to avoid if you're trying to do some of this work in your own RV. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up, comment below, tell us what you thought. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and the little bell icon so you get notified when we put out more Don't Do This videos. And again, my name's Todd. This is the Alcohol Free RV, and we'll see you next time.